So, yes. Can you see the screen properly, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Farooq. Mr. Masukalam, is this your first class with us? Sir, your mic is muted. We cannot hear you. Sorry. Unmute your mic and then you can talk so that we can hear.
Yeah,
Yes.
I live in Saudi. I
Okay.
not attend your class. I have no time
Okay,
to attend your class.
I understand. So this is your first class that you're attending with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Not only first class. Previous I joined a class, but I not continue full class.
okay, I understand. So that was in the intermediate level or in the pre-intermediate level? Was it in the intermediate level?
Intermediate level, maybe. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good to know that. Great. Okay, no problem. We can, I will give you a recap of what we did last class and what you missed if you weren't there. Mr. Farooq was there, right? You were there together. We did the class. So I'll zoom in. So in our last class, we firstly took a personality test and we saw a circle of words, circle of letters where there are certain words given, and we had to take a look. In the first look, the four words that we saw that describes our personality. That is how we took the personality quiz and we got to know some of the students' personality. And most of them, the words that they got, they said that it actually described their personality. So I think it was fun for all of you. It was fun for me too. Next, we moved on to knowing a lot of adjectives that describe a person's personality or characteristics. So, um, to be specific, we learned 16 words in total that describe our personality and our characteristics, how we are or how we can be. And according to that, we answered some questions. There were 16 questions that gave us the meaning of the adjective in form of questions. So we answered these questions using the words or the adjectives that are given here and we match them together, right? So in that way, we also got to know who is what type of person, who is a lazy person, who is a generous person, what do we mean by a moody person. So we got to know about the personality words or adjectives that describe a person's personality or that is characteristics. So that was all about our last class, and we had conversations because you all know that this is an interactive class. We always interact and learn through that. So that is how we also learned many new adjectives that describe our personality, a person's character. So that was all about last class. For today, let's move to our today's work or lesson. Today we will be doing a lesson, or the lesson that we will be doing today is all about reading and speaking. So as you can see, I'll zoom out. We have a whole article about a family or a group of brothers. They are called the Angulo brothers. Angulo brothers have a story of their own, about their life, and we will be doing the whole lesson of today based on their story, based on their life. Okay, so first we will be reading about a short summary on their life, and then we'll jump into a more detailed story of theirs. And then we will answer some questions. We will do some true false, correct or wrong. We will be doing all those. And through that, we will be improving our speaking as well as our reading skills. So as you all know, as I always have told you, that we focus mainly on developing our skills and improving our efficiency. Right. So in all of our courses that be it pre-intermediate level or intermediate level, whichever it is, advanced level, elementary level, whichever level it is, we always focus on the development of your skills that are your listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills and improvement of your Efficiency, that is, we work on grammar, on your grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. That is how we improve your efficiency. And our book that we follow, all of the units include all of these aspects, okay, so that we can improve your efficiency as well as develop your skills. So, see, here we are developing two skills. One is reading, and the other is speaking. So, let's jump into our lesson because I see many of you have joined. There is a participant here named iPhone. Could you please change your name to your name so that we can call you out by your name and not by iPhone? Mr. or Miss iPhone, could you please, you can tell us your name if you can't change your name on your phone. You can also unmute your mic and tell us your name. Okay, so let's start with our today's lesson. Firstly, I will let you read the first part of our today's lesson, that is about the Angulo brothers. I will read it out to you at first so that it's easier for you to start, because our first activity has some questions regarding the heading, and that is the title that is given and the subheading given on this lesson on the Angulo brothers, right? So we have to read, so see, look at the photographs of the Angulo brothers and read the title and subheading. So these are the Angulo brothers. Here there are four, not the middle person. He is a guard of London. These four are the Angular brothers. There are two more. So all these six brothers that you see here, they are all the Angular brothers. They are called Angular brothers. I'll mark it so it's easier for you. The Angulo is their title, okay? So these six brothers together are called Angular brothers. So Angulo is their title. That is why they are being called Angular brothers, and they have their own names. That is, it's written here, the six Angular brothers. See, Bhagavan, Govinda, Narayana, Mukunda, Krishna, and Jagadish. So these are all these sound like those Indian type names, right? So maybe they have some roots of India. So let's start. Okay, before we start, I would like to request everyone who's present here to please keep your cameras open. Mr. Farooq had his camera open, but he switched it off. Same for Mr. Masukalam. Thank you, Mr. Sharif, for turning on your camera. So let's start reading all together. You can keep your mics muted and read along with me, okay? Because I will be asking you all to read it out loud as well. So, the Angulo brothers, the weirdest brothers in the world, imprisoned for years by their father in a tiny Manhattan apartment in New York. Their only contact with the world was watching films. Now they're in one. So, what do we understand by this? That they are being called the weirdest brothers in the world. Why? Because they had been imprisoned for years. What do you mean by imprisoned? They have been captured in one place. That is what imprisonment means. Okay, to be imprisoned for years by their fathers in a tiny Manhattan apartment in New York. So they were captured in a very small Manhattan apartment, in a very small apartment that was in Manhattan in New York, and that was done by their father. Their only contact with the world was watching films. So they only got to know about the world. How? By watching films. That was the only way that they could connect with the world. And now they are in one. So all these years that they were captured in that apartment, the only way they could connect with the world was through the films. Now they are in one. So a movie or a film has been made based on them, and the movie's name is The Wolf Pack. See, here is the poster that we can see. The Wolf Pack. This is the movie based on them, and they are acting in that movie as well. Okay. So let's see what questions have been given here in the first activity based on the title and the subheading that we just read. So here, the first question is, why are they weird? So did Farooq, Mr. Sajidul. Mr. Sajidul, welcome to our class. You
Thank
did
you,
not miss
madam.
anything. Do not worry. We just started.
Okay, sure. Thank
Okay,
you.
great. Most welcome. So I hope all of you read this. Now I would like Mr. Farooq, could you please read the first two things, the title and the subheading? So this is the title. I'll change the color because it's already red. Okay, so this is the title and this is the subheading. So could you please read this whole part for all of us? Yes, Mr. Farooq, read it out loud so
The,
that all of us can hear. Okay, what about Mr. Sharif? Mr. Sharif, can you please read it out for us?
Sure, Miss. The Angular brothers, the weirdest brothers in the world, imprisoned for years by their father in a tiny apartment in New York. Their only contact with the world was watching films. Now they are
Great.
in one.
Very good. Very good. Okay. So we all read it. Yes, Mr. Sajidul as well. I hope you read that too. So let's jump into the first activity where we have to answer some questions. So I will be zooming in a bit so that it's easier for you to look at the questions given. Okay. So the first question is, why are they weird? You know what weird is, right? Someone or something that does not look, or a situation that does not seem normal, a bit
Yeah,
different, in a different way. That is weird, not in a good way usually. So
yeah,
that is
yes.
something that is weird. So why are they weird? Why do you think that they are weird? Mr. Sajidul, could you please answer?
Yeah. They are weird because they are imprisoned for years by their father in a teeny Manhattan apartment in New York.
Very good. In a tiny Manhattan apartment. That is very small. Very good, Mr. Sajidul. That is the correct answer. They are weird because they
There's
have been
another reason.
imprisoned.
There's another reason.
Yes, what is that? What is that, Mr. Sharif? What do you think?
Miss,
What do
there
you
is
think is
another
that?
reason. They're
Yeah,
the widest.
weird.
Yeah, I think that they are only contact with the films in the apartment, right? Because they're not in contact with any person of the world, even not the relative change themselves,
Exactly.
but they are
Right.
only, the focus is only contact with the world of movies. That's why.
Right, right, exactly. So you are also right, Mr. Sajidul is also right. So it all sums up to being imprisoned, right? Because they're imprisoned by their fathers in this tiny Manhattan apartment. That is why their only contact with the world is by watching films or movies. So yes, so that is why they're called weird. Understood? Okay. So that is the reason of being called the weirdest brothers altogether because they're all together in one place. Okay, the second question. Describe what they look like. What age and nationality do you think they are? So this is the picture of theirs. Out of the six of them, we can see four of them here. So what do you think? Firstly, describe how do they look. Mr. Farooq, could you please describe how do they look? So, see, before in the previous classes, we learned how to describe people, how to describe things, how to describe places, right? How we can say how they look or how they are. We learned all that. Now is the time when you apply it practically. So, can you tell me, Mr. Farooq, how do they look? Can you describe their look?
They are look
Yes.
very handsome and cheerful.
Okay. What type of hair do they have? Then do they look young or do they look old? Say all that as well.
They look young and
And they have dark hair, right? Okay, well tried, Mr. Farooq. Good. Good that you tried. Very good. Okay, Mr. Sajidul, could you tell us how they look? Describe them. please?
Yeah, sure. Uh, they have there have 5 members in the pictures, and the left persons and the person from the left side has white hair, wearing jeans and jackets. The second one is a female guy, and she is very pretty
No,
and
he's
young.
he's also a boy. These are all our brothers.
Okay,
They
okay,
all are
okay,
boys. Okay, so see, we have four brothers here. Okay, out of six of them, we have
okay,
four here. The middle person is just a guard where
okay,
they're clicking the picture. So here, four of their names are this one's Eddie, the blonde one. Then the one with the long hair is Mukunda. We have the name here. See, the wolf pack in London. So this is
okay,
Mukunda, then is Govinda, and then is Narayana. So these are the four. Okay, so now you can describe, now that I cleared it out for you.
okay. The second one is also a young guys, and his hair is so long, and he wearing formal pants and jackets as well. The third one is look like a security person's. Uh, sh-
That person is a guard. That's not a brother.
okay,
So move on to the next one.
okay. And the third one is also another brothers. He wearing white shirts and wearing glasses. His hair is black, and the fourth one is look like a female. He
Has
also
long
have,
hair.
yeah,
Yeah,
long hair and wearing red jackets.
great, great. Good. Nice way of describing them by seeing the picture. Excellent work, Mr. Sajidul. Now, Mr. Sharif, could you tell us what do you think their age and their nationality could be? What age and nationality do you think they are? Mr. Sharif?
Yes, they have been living at New York City. I mean, in a tiny Manhattan apartment. Probably, I cannot guess yet, though she has mentioned that they're just imprisoned by their father. So anyway, so rationality is, I mean, confusion. So far as the look concerned, I can see they're very young, like very young, like they're very, I mean, mature young, right? Mature young enough,
So
and
maybe in
almost
their
they're very close
mid-teens
age.
or early 20s, something around like that. Their age
It's 20. It looks 20 plus, 20 plus.
around 20, right? In their
Mature
early
young.
20s. Right, exactly. Good.
Right.
And what about their
But
nationality? What do you think? Where are they
but I'm
from?
confused
Where are
about
their
the nationality.
You're
Nationality.
right. It
I
is
think they're
confusing.
American.
They're American. Of
But
course they're American. But then again, did you all
because
notice
they're
that their names? Yes? Did you notice their names?
yeah,
Their
but
names
Indian name they
are
have. They are everybody have
exactly,
Indian name.
exactly. So either they could be American, Latin Americans, because usually Americans who are Native Americans, they do not look like that. They have a different look than them, right? So they look a bit Latin
See
American
from
type,
the
right?
or they might be or East Asian like in Japanese or
Exactly, exactly. So they seem to be of mixed race, right? So not exactly American, so they could be Latin American or Asian Americans, or they could also be Indian Americans,
mixed
right?
color, right?
Exactly. Okay, is it
Yes.
clear for the others? Do any of you have any other
Or
says
similar to
regarding
Asian
this?
people.
Exactly. They look like a bit of that Asian touch they have in their faces and features. Okay, great, Mr. Sharif. Next is what kind of films do you think influenced the way they look like? So, see, in this, there are two pictures of them given, right? So, one is the picture from this poster, and the other is a picture of them in London. So, whom do you think do they dress up like? I'll zoom out a bit. Mr. Shajidul, could you tell us whom do you think do they dress up like? Because they have, keep in mind that they have only watched movies. They have grown up watching movies. So what type of characters do you think have they developed in their mind and looking at their dress up? Mr. Shajidul, could you tell us?
So far, I think as they were imprisoned with their fathers, so and met in watching movies. So it can be they're wearing very casual dresses so far.
Okay. You think that they dress up like or they look like very casually dressed people, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good answer. What about you, Mr. Farooq? What do you think? What kind of films influenced their dress up? Okay, let's make it easier for you. This picture, the picture that is given on the poster, what sort of dress up do you think, what kind of film do you think inspired them to dress up like this? There are different kinds of films like thriller movies and then action movies. So usually in action movies, we see the gangster groups. They always dress up either in these denim jackets and,
This this
leather
this
jackets.
poster this poster is
Yes,
showing it can be a very uh, corporate style movies so far,
okay.
and as well, and it look like a very gangster type movies so far.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. So good observation, Mr. Shajidul. So mainly they usually watched the gangster type of movies, and that is what they actually got influenced by. That is the type of movie. So that is why they are wearing this suit and a black tie and a black. It means they're
Yes,
completely dressed in black.
their goggles, ties, and
That's
suits,
by
especially
dark images.
Exactly.
showing this.
Right.
This
So they are giving off a very dark vibe, right? Because of their influence from the gangster movies. So that is what how they got influenced. Okay, great. Next one, the last one. Why do you think they are called the Wolf Pack? Why do you think that the movie that is based on them is being called the Wolf Pack, or all of them together are being called the Wolf Pack? What do you think, Mr. Farooq?
What's the meaning of wolf pack?
Wolf pack? Okay, so we all know the animal wolf, right? The animal
Sorry?
that looks like wolf, the animal wolf that lives in the jungle but looks like a dog, a wild animal wolf. We
look
know
like dog, but so much devastating than dogs and
exactly,
other kind
very
of animals.
dangerous kind of animal that is a wolf. And wolves usually, whenever they're moving together, they are wild animals. Whenever they're moving together, they move in a group, and that group of wolves is called a pack. So a pack of wolves, a group of wolves together are called a pack of wolves. And these brothers together are being called the wolf pack. Why do you think is that? Mr. Sharif, could you answer?
Should I read
All right,
read
so far you said
the
that
story
wolf
before,
means actually.
ma'am?
No, no, no. 1 minute, Mr. Sharif, 1 minute. No, Mr. Fark, you don't have to read the story. No one has read the story yet. We just read the title and the heading. This is just a general question looking at the poster that is given. I just said it that they have a movie based on them, the six brothers. They are in a story. See, here it is written. They are in one. So they are in a movie now, and the movie is about them. And the story or the movie that is being based on them is being called the Wolf Pack. Why do you think the name of the movie is Wolf Pack? That is the question that I asked. Understood? No problem, Mr. Farooq. If you cannot answer, no problem. You can observe the class so that others will answer and you will get to know the answer. No problem. Okay, yes. Going back to Mr. Sharif, you were saying? Yes,
All
Mr.
right,
Sharif.
that means you said the group. Actually, if you see the word pattern, all means actually like hunting animal that actually aggressively hunt something. So I think wolf pack. You said that it means a group of people here, like group of I mean the people means brothers. I mean five brothers, right? Six brothers.
Six
Okay,
brothers, right?
so I think they are on a mission for hunting something. I believe because you said wolf is symbolizing with peace here. So that is
Okay.
in a group of people like this.
Okay, okay. Okay, well tried. You have a good theory for your answer. That is a good theory because wolves are hunting animals. Maybe they're after something and they're hunting for someone or for something. That is why they're being called the wolf pack.
Or
That is
here might
quite a good,
here might they
yes,
can attack or something, or like they might attack
right.
something, or they might try a mission.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I get your point. That is a good point that you said, but there is a better explanation for this. That is because wolves always stick together, right? And that is why they are called a pack of wolves. Here, the six brothers, they are also together from the very beginning. They have not been separated. They did not go on their own ways. They have always been together in the same place and in the same tiny apartment. And even now, when there's the movie that is going on about their life, it is still about them all together. So that is why, because they are still in a group, that is why it is being called the wolf pack. Now, understood?
That means they're very connected from their
Right.
childhood, right?
Exactly. They are very connected from their childhood. And also, there's another point. Just like the wolves, they usually don't show up in front of people, right? They
Yeah.
stay in their own caves, in their own houses, inside the jungle, and they're always away from the people. Same way,
Yeah.
these brothers were also away from the people. That is why they're being compared to the
Yes,
wolf
miss. I
pack.
wanted to say same thing.
Okay, great. That's great. Good that it
Right.
came to your
I
mind.
understand
That's
because of what what I wanted to say, because I thought that as they are wolf, like wolf means, I mean that these six people, they are out of the society without. I mean they
right.
are brought up wild, actually wild. That's why
Exactly.
similarly it goes with wolf.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
out of
Right.
society, right? Too.
Right. Absolutely right. Great observation. Thank you so much. Okay. Now that we're done with our first activity, that was a good discussion, and most of you gave good answers and tried very well. So now let's read and listen to the first part that is given here under the title. This first part over here. Let's read this. And first, we will listen to the audio that is given. So, as I always recommend you, that whenever I'm playing an audio, even if there is not the if the audio that is being playing that I will be playing, if the script is not written on the screen, I mean in any of the activities, I give the script on the screen, right? So whatever it is, whenever the audio is being played, you have something to read along with it, right? The same way, I will be playing the audio now, and the part that is given here, the white part, that will be played in the audio. So what I always recommend is that when you are listening to the audio, you keep your mics muted, you read along with the audio, okay? You listen and say it out loud by yourself so that it is easier for you to, match the pace that they're talking in or they're reading in. This also improves your listening skills and your speaking skills together. So what you're listening, that is what you're saying. And then it also helps you with the pronunciation, in the improvement of your pronunciation, because you're listening to the native speakers speaking. You listen to their accent, their type of pronunciation, and you also can try to mimic them or copy them or try to talk like them. Okay, so that helps your pronunciation and fluency as well. So I talked a lot. Let me just play it. You listen to it and read it out loud along with the audio. Okay, so listen to it very carefully.
1.8. What's their story? The Angulo brothers. The weirdest brothers in the world. Imprisoned for years by their father in a tiny Manhattan apartment in New York, their only contact with the world was watching films. Now they're in one.
Dressed in dark glasses, white shirts, black suits and black ties, just like the robbers in Quentin Tarantino's thrilling movie Reservoir Dogs, they seem like any group of teenagers trying to look cool. But there is an astonishing reason why the six Angulo brothers try so hard to imitate their favourite film stars. For the Angulos, for 14 years, watching films wasn't just an escape from the outside world, it was their world. The six boys and their elder sister were imprisoned in an overcrowded, messy flat by an eccentric and tyrannical father who wanted to keep them from the horrors of modern life in New York. Homeschooled by their mother Suzanne, their family was so reclusive that many neighbours didn't even know they were there. Once, we didn't leave the apartment for a whole year, says Govinda. However, the children were not completely cut off from the outside world. Their father had a collection of 5,000 DVDs and videos, and the children watched these films time and time again. Now their story, which is stranger than any film, is told in a documentary film called The Wolf Pack.
Okay, so that was just the introduction or the summary of their whole life that we just got to know about. So they were imprisoned for 14 years. And what was their way of escape to the outside world? How could they escape to the outside world? Not physically, but mentally. How could they escape to the outside world? Miss Yasmin, could you tell me how could they escape to the outside world mentally? Miss Yasmin? Okay. What about Mr. Farooq? Could you tell us how did they escape in the outside world? Mentally, not physically, because they were imprisoned, they were inside the tiny house that their father kept them in, but they could escape to the outside world in one way. That was mentally. Through what? Mr. Farooq, can you tell us? Through watching films. See, it's written here.
For the Anglo 14 years, watching film was not just an escape from the outside world.
It was their world.
It was their world.
Exactly. So it was not just an escape, but it was their world. That was the only world that they knew. Not the one that we roam about in, not the one that we see outside of our house, but just the movies. Right? So now, I'll change the mode here so that it's easier for you. Okay. So here, in our second activity, we have to answer some more questions, for which we will be reading the whole thing properly again, okay? So this time first, I will read it out for you, and then I will ask one of you, one by one, in turn, to read the whole thing, so that this improves your reading skills, okay? So I'll read it out for you at first, and then I'll ask you all to read it, okay? So, the Angulo brothers, the weirdest brothers in the world, imprisoned for years by their father in a tiny Manhattan apartment in New York, their only contact with the world was watching films. Now they're in one. Dressed in dark glasses, white shirts, black suits, and black ties, just like the robbers in Quentin Tarantino's thrilling movie Reservoir Dogs, they seem like any group of teenagers trying to look cool. But there is an astonishing reason why the six Angulo brothers try so hard to imitate their favorite film star. See, in the above activity, the question that was asked, that what type of film influenced their way of their look, the way they're dressing and everything. To see Reservoir Dogs is also a very thrilling gangster type movie. So that is what actually influenced them, and that is why they imitate their favorite film stars and dress in all black with black sunglasses and black suits and everything, right? For the Angulos, for 14 years, watching films wasn't just an escape from the outside world, it was their world. The six boys and their elder sister were imprisoned in an overcrowded, messy flat by their eccentric and tyrannical father who wanted to keep them from the horrors of modern life in New York. Homeschooled by their mother, Suzanne, the family was so reclusive that many neighbors didn't even know they were there. Once we didn't leave the apartment for a whole year, says Govinda. However, the children were not completely cut off from the outside world. Their father had a collection of 5,000 DVDs and videos, and the children watched these films time and time again. Now their story, which is stranger than any film, is told in a documentary film called The Wolfpack. Got the story? That is the very short version of their story. We have the longer story in our next page. We will move to that as well. But before that, I know that there are certain words that you might be confused with. We will also be coming into that. But before that, I would like you all to read it one by one. So at first, I would like to call out Mr. Sharif. Could you please read from the very beginning, the whole thing for once? Mr. Sharif?
Sure, madam.
Yes.
From the very beginning of the story,
Yes, definitely.
dressed in dark
From
glasses.
the title. From the title, the Angulo brothers.
Okay. The Angular brothers, the weirdest brothers in the world, imprisoned for years by their father in a tiny Manhattan apartment in New York. Their only contact with the world was watching films. Now there is one. Dressed in dark glasses, white shirts, black suits, and black ties, just like the robbers in Quentin Tarantino's thrilling movie Reservoir Dogs. They seem like any group of teenagers trying to look cool. But there is an astonishing reason why the six Angelo brothers try so hard to imitate their favorite film stars. For the Angelos, for 14 years, watching films wasn't just an escape from the outside world, it was their world. The six boys and their elder sister were imprisoned in an overcrowded, messy flat by an eccentric and tyrannical father who wanted to keep them from the horrors of modern life in New York.
Mr. Sharif, you're having some technical issue.
From the
Okay, Mr. Sharif, you're having some technical issues for which we cannot hear you.
in New York, homeschooled by their mother.
Okay, Mr. Sharif, it's okay. Thank you so much. We cannot hear you clearly. You're having some technical issues. No problem. Thank you. That was a great reading. Thank you, Mr. Sharif. Okay, moving on to Mr. Farooq. Mr. Farooq, could you start from the very beginning, please?
The Angolo brothers.
Angulo.
The Angolo brothers.
G-U. Angulo brothers.
The Angolo brothers.
Okay, good.
The weirdest brothers in the world were
Weird. Say weird.
weirdest.
Weirdest. Yes.
Weirdest. The
Very good.
weirdest brothers in the world, imprisoned for years by their father in a teeny Manhattan apartment in the New York.
Tiny Manhattan apartment, Mr. Farooq.
Sorry.
Yes.
Their only contact with the world was watching films. Now they are in one.
Good.
Dressed in dark glasses.
Dressed.
Dressed in dark glasses. White shirt, black suits, and black ties, just like the robbers in
Quentin
Quentin
Tarantino.
Tarantino traveling movie,
Thrilling movies.
thrilling movie.
Good. Reservoir.
I can't see the.
Okay, I'll zoom in. No problem. Tell me to zoom in and I will. Better?
Thank you.
Most welcome. Yes.
They seem like any group of teenagers trying to look cool, but there is an astonishing reason why the six Anglo brothers try so hard
hard.
to imitate their favorite film stars. For the Anglos, for 14 years, watching film was not just an escape from the outside world. It was their world. The six boys and their elder sister were imprisoned in
Yes.
an
Good.
overcrowded,
Very
messy
good.
flat by an
Eccentric.
and
Tyrannical.
tyrannical
Tyrannical.
tyrannical
Good.
father who wanted to keep them from the horrors of modern life in New York. Whom is called by their
Good.
mother,
Suzanne. Suzanne.
Susan. The family was so reclusive that
Good.
many neighbors did not even know
Neighbors.
neighbors that neighbors
Didn't even.
neighbor did not even know they were there. Once we did not leave the apartment for a whole year, say Govinda.
Good.
However, the children were not completely cut off from the outside world. Their father had a collection of 5,000 DVDs and videos, and the children watched these films time and time again. Now their
Good.
story, which is stranger than any film, is told in a documentary film called The
Wolf pack.
Wolfpack.
Very good. Very well tried, Mr. Farooq. Very good. Very good. You will, inshallah, don't worry, you will, inshallah, develop slowly. Okay, next is Mr. Sajidul. Could you please start?
Yeah, sure. The Anglo brothers,
Good.
the weirdest brothers in the world, imprisoned for years by their father in a tiny Manhattan apartment in New York. Their only contact with the world was watching films. Now they are in one. Dressed in dark glasses, white shirts, black suits, and black ties, just like robbers in Quentin. Quentin Tarantino's thrilling movie,
Reservoir Dogs.
They seem like any group of teenagers trying to look cool. But there is an astonishing reason why the six Anglo brothers try so hard to imitate their favorite film stars. For the Anglos, for 14 years, watching films was not just an escape from the outside world. It was their world. The six boys and their elder sisters were imprisoned in an overcrowded, messy flat by an tyrannical father who wanted to keep them from the horrors of modern life in New York. Homeschooled by their mother, Susan, the family was so reclusive that many neighbors didn't even know they were there. Once we didn't live in the apartment for a whole year, says Govinda. However, the children were not completely cut off from the outside world. Their father, had a collection of 5,000 DVDs and videos, and the children watched these films time and time again. Now their story, which is stranger than any film, is told in a documentary film called The Wolf Pack.
Great. Well done, Mr. Shajidul. Okay, before I jump into that, please clear me one thing, Mr. Shajidul. Is it Shajidul or is it Sajidul?
Shajidul.
Shajidul. Okay,
It's
thank
a
you.
JD.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so before I move forward, I would like to ask both of you, which are the words that you did not understand here or you don't know the meaning of? Give me the words and I'll explain it to you.
Okay, could you please clarify in more regarding the eccentric and tyrannical?
Okay, so
What kind of
eccentric.
adjective? What the meaning of this adjective?
Okay, I'm coming into that. Eccentric, tyrannical, and what? Any
It's
other
an
words?
adjective or phrase?
Definitely, both of these are adjectives because it is describing the father. The father was eccentric and tyrannical. So these both are adjectives. Very good, Mr. Shajidul. That was a good catch. I will be getting into the meanings, inshallah, soon. Mr. Farooq, which words did you not understand here and you want to know the meanings of? Sir, you are muted. Mr. Farooq, you're muted. If you're saying anything, I cannot hear you.
Imparison.
Imprisoned, okay.
Imprisoned.
Okay, and?
Imprisoned.
And any other word?
Imitate and astonishing.
Okay, imitate, astonishing. Any other words? Astonishing, okay, and any other word? No problem, sir. Give me the words. I will explain. Do not hesitate. If you don't understand the words given here, you will not be able to improve your vocabulary, right? So as long as you know the words, the new words that you are learning, if you don't understand the meaning, you will not be able to develop your vocabulary skill. That is why I am asking you which are the words that you are not understanding so that I can explain. Any other words?
I'll tell you later.
Okay, and what about reclusive? Do you know the meaning of reclusive? Reclusive? Okay. Mr. Shajidul, any other words?
No.
Okay.
No others.
So let me start with astonishing. Astonishing means very surprising, something that is very surprising, out of the ordinary. That is astonishing. Okay. Imitate means to copy. Suppose so they are imitating their favorite film stars, which means they are copying their favorite film stars. They're trying to do what the film stars are doing. They're trying to look the way the film stars are looking. They're trying to dress like the way the film stars are dressing. So that is to imitate. That is to copy someone.
Means imitation.
Yes, exactly. Imitation. Exactly. Imitate is the verb. Imitation is the noun. Right. Yes.
Astonishing. Astonishing noun or adjective.
Astonishing reason. This here it is an adjective because it is describing the word reason. The reason is astonishing, which means that the reason is very surprising. So here it is an adjective. Okay. Then is imprisoned. Imprisoned means to be locked somewhere. Suppose the terrorist was imprisoned in the jail. So that means he was locked up in the jail. So that is imprisoned, to be locked up or captured somewhere. Okay. Next is eccentric. Eccentric means something that is out of the ordinary, very unusual. That is not normal. That is eccentric. Extremely out of the ordinary or extremely unusual. That is eccentric. Okay. Then is tyrannical. Tyrannical means someone who is very strict or very harsh or very rude or usually a person who, suppose I said that this, you have to do this, means you have to do this. I am being tyrannical. Whatever I say, you have to do that.
A tough
That
guy.
type of, right. A person who's very tough and very, we had a very tyrannical leader for the past 15 years. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Last one is reclusive. Although you did not mention this, but I am saying it. Reclusive means to be out of the society, to be away from the society, or to be away from people, to be alone and in a very quiet and very far place, away from a lot of people or away from the others or social, away from society. That is to be reclusive. Okay, clear?
Reclusive. The family was so reclusive.
Yes, right.
Reclusive is noun.
Here it is now. The family was so reclusive. Here it can be even be an adjective, right? Because here it is describing how the family was. It is mainly an adjective here. The family was so reclusive that many neighbors didn't even know they were here. So here it is an adjective. Understood? Right.
Unusual. Reclusive mean unusual.
No. Reclusive means to be to stay away from society. So away that they did not even know that these people used to stay here. See, the family was so reclusive. They were so away from the society that the neighbors means people who were around them, who were living around them, the neighbors didn't even know that this family was even there, that they were living there. That is how reclusive they were. They were very antisocial. They were very unsocial, away from everyone. They did not meet people. That is reclusive. Clear?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now, moving on to our second activity. That is, we have some questions that have to be answered. And the first question is, who are the other members of the family? What do you learn about them? So can you tell me, Mr. Shajidul, who are the other members of the family other than the brothers? Who are the other people?
Only the father and mothers.
Only the father and mother, other than the brothers?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah.
No, there was an elder sister.
Oh.
Elder sister.
Okay. Yes, right.
Okay. So give me the answer in full sentence. Who are the other members of the family?
Father, mother, and the sisters.
So the other members of the family, yes, are the father, mother, and the elder sister. Very good. Okay, what do you learn about them, Mr. Farooq? What do you think, or what do you learn
And
about
them.
these three people who are there other than the brothers? We have some description about them in this paragraph. So what did you learn about them from here? Firstly, tell me about the father. What do you think? How was he? How was he? The father? Was he very kind? Was he very loving? Was he like that? See, look at the text here. See, the father was eccentric and
tyrannical fathers.
Tyrannical, exactly. The father was eccentric and tyrannical. He was not kind. He was not loving. He was eccentric. That is, he was out of the usual, very, very unusual. And he was very tyrannical, very rough and tough. So that is how the father was. And what did he have? Did he have yes? Did he have like a big collection of books?
Movies.
Yes, he had a big collection of
movies.
Mr. Farooq? He had a big collection of movies. He had a collection of 5,000 DVDs and videos. Yes. So that is what we know about the father. And also that the father, why did he keep them inside the house? Because he did not want them to face, he did not want the children to face what? Tell me. The father did not
who wanted
want
to keep them from the horrors of modern life in the New York.
Exactly, very good. He wanted the children to be away from the horrors of modern life. So the father did not have any bad intentions of keeping the children away from the society. He did it so that the children didn't have to face the horrors of the modern life. Like there are a lot of things that we have to face while growing up, right? So that is what the father did not want. But then again, the way he tried to keep it away from their children was not right, right? So he kept them there. And what about the mother? What do we know about the mother? You have to talk. This is reading and speaking skills. So talk. Mr. Farooq and Mr. Shajidul, talk. What do we know about the mother?
Their mother name is Suzanne.
Family was
Yes.
Susan.
Suzanne.
Suzanne.
What
she
did she
took-
do for the children?
She took the children to schools.
The 6 boys and their
Home schools.
Okay, so they did not go to school because they were just in that apartment. They did not go anywhere, not even school. They were homeschooled. Homeschooled means to be taught at home. Whatever the children learn in school, to be taught the same thing at school, at home. Sorry, that is to be homeschooled. So the mother, Suzanne, she homeschooled the children. So no other tutor, no other teacher came to their house to teach the children. No one came, no one went. So it was just a mother who homeschooled all the children, all 7 of them, the 6 brothers and 1 elder sister. Okay. Okay. Next is number 2. Explain this sentence. Watching films wasn't just an escape from the outside world. It was their world. Mr. Shajidul, can you please explain what this sentence actually means?
Actually, this sentence means that their father of the children's the fathers try to keep their children's actually his sons and daughters
Away.
keep in the imprisoned in their family and try to keep them from outside of the world, just
Keep them
because
away.
Keep them away from the world, just to protect them from the modern society.
Very
and
good. Yes.
the modern cultures.
Right. So,
So
is that the only thing that this sentence means? It's about it, what you said. It is fact that actually happened, and that is why the father imprisoned them. But how did they get away?
Children were not completely cut off from the outside world. Their father had a collection of 5,000 DVDs and videos, and the children watched this film time and time again.
Right, that is correct. These are the facts that are given here, right? So, but now the sentence that we are talking about, watching films wasn't just an escape for the escape from the outside world. It was their world. This sentence, right, that we are talking about. What does it actually mean? So these are just the words that are made in a sentence, and they're making sense. They are. Watching films wasn't just an escape from the outside world, it was their world. But it is not literally true, right? Because watching films cannot be their world. Film cannot be someone's world, right?
Right.
It cannot be. So it has some other meaning. This is being said hypothetically to make us understand that their world revolved around watching films. That was the only thing that they could do when they were there. So that is what this means, that watching films was the only thing that they could do to feel that they are in this world. They are the same as the people in the whole world who are moving around from place to place. So that is why it is being said that watching films wasn't just an escape to the outside world. Because what do we do? When do we watch films? To relax, right? Suppose we had a very stressful day, we had to work the whole day. Now I want to chill and I want to relax for some time. So what I will do, I'll watch a comedy movie. Suppose. So the things that are going on in the movie is not true, right? It's just for entertainment so that we can relax our brains and we can just get inside that story and feel good about it, right? So that is why we watch films. But these children, these seven children, they did not watch the film for that. They watched it to get to know about the world so that they could escape into that world and just stay there because it was a very monotonous life for them, right? So that is what it's meaning. That it was the watching films was the only way that they could feel included or they could feel that yes, I am still in this world. Understood? It's a bit deep, might go a bit deep, but it's easy to understand sometimes as well. Okay, no problem, you'll get it
That means
slowly, slowly.
that,
Yes,
that means other people, so those who are living in the world and moving one place to another place and doing many things in the world. But these guys, actually, the six boys do
yes,
not do anything in the world. That means
exactly.
they try to get the
Flavor of the
flavor.
world.
Yes, they get the flavor from the movies
Movies, exactly.
regarding the interworld.
Exactly. Very good.
And
Exactly. So they got, yes,
these things are actually highlighted here as hypothetical issue. That means it has
exactly.
separate meaning.
Right. Exactly. Now you got it. Very good. That is what they're actually trying to mean, that watching films is usually for our relaxation and everything, but for them it was completely different. That is how they got the essence of the world, the flavor of the world, because they couldn't go outside, they couldn't do anything out of their house, they could not ride a car or go out and walk on the streets. By watching the movie, they could get the
even
feeling.
even they try to get the feelings from schools and others academical institutions as well in the family so far.
Exactly. Not even that they got to experience, right? That the teaching part, the learning part, that was also homeschooled. So it was very sad actually when we actually think about their life. It is quite sad because it's very frustrating to be in a just in one place for 14 years. It's very bad.
This lifestyle
Okay.
going to make them mad so far.
Exactly. But thank goodness they did not go mad. We'll look into
Yeah,
that
yeah, right.
after this. Okay. Next, the third question. Which film tells the story of their lives? Mr. Farooq, you should know this answer. Which film tells the story of their life? I just want the answer from Mr. Farooq. You have to do this. You have to know this answer. This is very easy. What is the name of the film that is based on their life?
Shootout in Brasilia against Colombia in the semi-final. And on both occasions he scored.
The last paragraph has the answer. I gave you a hint.
The old, sorry.
Yes,
The
I can
old
hear you.
pet.
I can hear you. Very good. Yes. Very good. The Wolf Pack.
Documentary film called The Old Pet.
Yes, good. The film that tells the story of their lives is The Wolf Pack. Answer it in full sentence. Say it. The film that tells the story of their lives is called The Wolf Pack. Say it, Mr. Farooq, say it. The film that tells the story of their lives.
The film tells the story of
Of their lives
lives called
is called
The Old Pet.
Very good. Good. Very good. Last question is what or who do these adjectives refer to? So see here there are 9 adjectives given. Out of these 9, I have already explained some of the words to you, some of the meanings of these words. Yes. First is astonishing, cool, dark, eccentric, messy, overcrowded, reclusive, thrilling, tyrannical. These 9 words have been given in this paragraph, this whole passage that is given here, and we have to find out, it is already marked here as well, we have to find out what or who. So what thing or which people, so what or who do these adjectives refer to? So all adjectives refer to a noun, right? So what does refer mean? To be related to, right? So all adjectives are related to a noun. That could be a thing or that could be a person. So these adjectives that are given in the passage, what do these adjectives refer to? Who or what? To which word do these adjectives refer to? That is what we have to find out here. So the first word is astonishing. Mr. Shajidul, can you tell me what does the adjective astonishing refer to here?
Astonishing refers to the
reason.
six Angular brothers. Astonishing reason.
Reason. Mr. Farooq said it right this time. And Mr. Shajidul, you were also giving the answer. Mr. Farooq said it. Okay, yes. So the adjective astonishing, that is this one, it refers to the reason. The reason why the 6 Angular brothers try so hard to imitate their favorite film stars. The reason of this is astonishing. That is what this adjective is referring to. The reason. Very good. Next is cool. So what does the adjective cool refer to? The cool is here.
Cool. Look.
Good. Very good, Mr. Farooq. You're getting it now. So the word cool, the adjective cool is referring to the look of the teenagers, how they dressed themselves. So they dressed themselves in a cool way. They wanted to look cool. So that is what this adjective is referring to. Very good. Next is for Mr. Shajidul, dark.
Dark refers to the glasses,
Very
white
good.
shirts.
Yes, glasses that they were wearing. That is what the adjective dark is referring to. Good. Now, eccentric.
Eccentric refers to the describes the father's behaviors.
Okay.
Right. Very good. Very good, Mr. Shajil. The eccentric refers to or describes the way their father is. That is very unusual. Extremely unusual. That is eccentric. Great. Next word is messy. I will not mark this. I will not mark the rest of them. You find out. Messy.
Messy refers to the flat size.
To the flat itself,
Flat.
not the size. Messy means dirty,
okay,
not
Sorry,
not clean, not nicely
untidy.
set up.
Sorry.
Yes, untidy, right. So very good. Messy refers to the flat that were, yes, that they were staying in. Very good. Next one is overcrowded.
Overcrowded refers to their city, actually, that where they are belongs.
The city? Are you sure?
Overcrowded, it's described about their flat as well, so far.
Right, exactly. It describes their flat as well, because see, the 6 boys and their elder sisters were imprisoned in an overcrowded, messy flat.
Right.
So the flat is being described with 2 adjectives. One is overcrowded, the other one is messy. So overcrowded because there were too many people in such a small flat, and it was also very messy. Very good, both of you. Next word is reclusive.
Reclusive refers to their
the family also reclusive.
Very
family.
good. Very good, both of you. Excellent. The word reclusive refers to the family. The family is being said to be very reclusive. What does it mean? Reclusive meaning?
Out of society.
Very good. Excellent work, Mr. Farooq. Out of society, away from society, not very social, not with the people around them. Very good. That is
Actually,
recluse. Yes.
in
Mr.
physically they are in the society, but mentally they are not in the society.
Exactly. So see, introvert people,
Yeah.
when they're sitting together with people, they are there physically, but they're not talking because they are in their own world. They're not mentally there. Same like that. Similar, actually, not same, similar. Very good, both of you. Second last one is thrilling. What is this referring to?
Movie. Thrilling
Movie.
refers to the movie.
Very good. Quentin Tarantino's thrilling movie. So it is referring to the movie of, that is Reservoir Dogs. Very good. Last one is tyrannical. Easy.
Tyrannical also refers to the father.
Right. Tyrannical is also referring to the father. That is a very tough person or a very rude person. That is their father. Very good. Well done, both of you. This was good. Now now it seems that you got the point of this whole passage. Very good. Okay, moving on to our third activity for today. That is, read the rest of the article. Are these statements about the family's story true or false? So we have 8 statements given here. We have to read the rest of the story. That is in the next page. We will be moving to that. We have to read that story and then we have to come back to do this activity. And here we have to read each statement and we have to tick it if it is correct, if it is true, the statement, or we have to cross it if it is false or not true, right, wrong. So let's move to our next page, that is our story. Let's start from here. I will read it once for you all, for both of you, and then I will ask you to read it for me, okay? So I'll do it quick, so it's easier. Zoom out, better to see. Okay, so their story. So before the passage that we read, that was a short summary on the story that we are doing, or that we got to know about the Angular brothers. So here it is a bit more descriptive and a bit more detailed. So this has a background of their mother, this has the background of their father, and then their lifestyle. And then what happened? How did the movie get, how did they get to make the movie? Because they were trapped in that tiny house. So how did they get out? Or if they actually got out or not? That is what we will get to know. Okay? Sorry. Their story. The family's extraordinary story began in the late 80s when Suzanne Racine Beckler, a young American hippie, met Oscar Angulo, a Peruvian tour guide and musician, on a trail to the majestic Machu Picchu ruins. So Machu Picchu is one of the wonders. I'm not sure if it still is or not, but it was one of the 8 wonders of the world. So he was, Mr. Oscar Angulo was a tour guide and a musician who was on the trail to the majestic Machu Picchu ruins. So he was going there, he was on the trail. They fell in love and moved to the US, finally to New York, where they started a family. Oscar, terrified that his children would fall into a life of drugs and crime, locked the front door and kept the key. The family lived on welfare money, and only Oscar went out, usually for food or to collect new films for his children. The boys say they learned a lot about life from these films. We learned about the importance of the family from films such as The Godfather. You see, they are fascinated by those gangster type movies. Even Godfather is about gangsters, right? Says Govinda. The films taught us that people are complex and flawed, says Narayana. But there is so much beauty in the world. It was only when we got to our teens that we started to realize we were living in a very different life to other people. Mukunda says, we began to get more curious. One morning, I simply woke up and decided to go out while my dad was getting groceries. Wearing a scary homemade mask modeled on the one worn by the Killer in the horror film Halloween, the 15-year-old escaped into the city streets. Shocked by his appearance, a shopkeeper called the police, but Mukunda refused to answer his questions. The police took him to a hospital where he stayed for a few weeks before being returned home. I told that things were going to be different, says Mukunda. He was angry, but he accepted it. Dressed in their Reservoir Dogs look, all six began to go out on their own. It was on such a trip that they met a documentary filmmaker, Crystal Mussel. We're not supposed to talk to strangers, they told her shyly when she tried to talk to them. However, they grew to trust her because of their shared love for films. Eventually, Crystal uncovered their incredible story, and the boys, seeing it as a way to get jobs in the film industry, agreed to work with her to make a documentary. I felt I had discovered a lost tribe, she says. A producer named them the Wolf Pack. Nowadays, the boys are living much more in the real world. They have friends, and one has a girlfriend. Most have jobs. Three of them in the film industry. The two youngest have changed their names to Eddie and Glenn and want to be rock musicians. So that is their story from the beginning till the end. Not the end, but till the point that they actually came into the real world and now they're living here. So I hope you understood the whole story. Now, coming back to the words that you did not understand here. So before that, I'll let you read it, okay? That will be easier. So this is the whole thing. I would like Mr. Shajidul, could you read it till being returned home? Till here. Read it till here. From the beginning.
Okay.
Do I need to zoom it in?
Yeah, sure. Okay, good enough. Okay. Dear story. The family's extraordinary story began in the late 80s when
Suzanne.
Susan
Reisenbichler.
Susan Reisenbichler, young American hippie, met Oscar Angulo, a Peruvian tour guide and musician, on a trail to the majestic Machu Picchu ruins. They fell in love and moved to the US, finally to New York, where they started a family. Oscar, terrified that his children would fall into a life of drugs and crime, locked the front door and kept the key. Their family lived on welfare money, and only Oscar went out, usually for food or to collect new films for his children. The boys say they learned a lot about life from these films. We learned about the importance of family from films such as The Godfather, says Govindo. The films taught us that people are complex and flawed, says Narayana. But there is so much beauty in the world. It was only when we got to our teens that we started to realize we were living a very different life to other people's. Mukunda says, we began to get more curious. One morning, I simply woke up and decided to go out while my dad was getting groceries. Wearing a scary homemade mask, modeled on the one worn by the killer in the horror film Halloween. The 15-year-old escaped onto the city streets. Shocked by his appearance, a shopkeeper called the police. But Mukunda refused to answer the questions. The police took him to a hospital where he stayed for a week before being returned home.
Very good. Well done, Mr. Shajidul. Now, rest of it, Mr. Farooq, please read it. From here, from the beginning. this beginning?
The told that things are
I
going
told.
to be. Oh, sorry. I told that things are going to be different. The I can't
Says,
see. I
you
can't.
can see? Okay,
Yes.
I will zoom in more. Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Wait, I am bringing it up. There. Fine now?
Yeah, now it's clear.
Yes. I told that things are going to be different, says Mukanda. He was angry, but he accepted it.
Accepted it.
Dress in their reserve
Reservoir.
your
Voir.
clocks.
Good.
Look,
Look.
all six began to go out on their own. It was on such a trip that they met documentary filmmaker Crystal
Moselle.
Muslim.
Good.
Muscle. We are not supposed to talk to the stranger, they told her shyly when she tried to talk to them. However, they grew to trust her because of their shared love of films. Eventually, Crystal uncovered their incredible
Very
story
good.
and the voice seeing it as a way to get jobs in the film industry, agreed to work with her to make a documentary. I
Very good.
felt I had discovered a lost tribe, she says. A producer friend named them the Old Pet.
Good.
Nowadays, the boys are living much more in the real world. They have friends and one has a girlfriend. Most have jobs, three of them in the film industry. The two youngest have changed their names to Eddie
Eddie,
and
yes.
Glenn
Very good.
and want to be rock musicians.
Very good. Excellent, Mr. Farooq and Mr. Shajidul as well. Great work. Very good. One advice that I would like to give both of you is that if you are facing anytime, if you are facing to pronounce a big word, suppose this word, extraordinary, suppose you are having a problem to pronounce it all together, what you will do is you will break it into syllables. You know what syllables are? Syllables are breaking a word into parts so that it's easier for you to read it out.
Like
So
extraordinary.
right, so you broke it down into two syllables. One is extra, the other one is ordinary. You can also, for example, this word raisin bickler. You are having problem in pronouncing this. So you break it down into one, two, three, four. Four syllables. First is
We
R-E-I, ray, S-E-N, sen,
sin
raisin, B-I-C-H, bic, L-E-R, ler, raisin, bic, ler. Okay? So
Listen big club.
right. So you break it down into syllables, into parts, so that it's easier for you to pronounce in parts at first and then say it all together to say out the whole word. Okay? So that is how
Thank you.
you pronounce. Very good. Most welcome. Sorry. So that is how you pronounce big words that you often have problem. Even I have some problems sometimes to pronounce new big words. So that is how we always practice it. Okay, now I hope all of you, both of you understood the whole story. So first, Susan was a young American hippie. She met Oscar Angulo, who was a Peruvian. Peruvian means a person who's from Peru, the country Peru. He was a Peruvian tour guide and musician who was going to the Machu Picchu ruins. That is the place, Machu Picchu. You can search it. It's a very beautiful place. So he was going there, they fell in love and they moved to USA, they moved to New York and started their family there. And then when the children were born, Oscar was very terrified. He was afraid that his children's life His children would go into drugs and crimes. So he locked them up and he kept the key to himself. He was the only one who used to go out of the house to get food and to collect the welfare money. So America pays a lot of unemployment benefits, and a lot of different types of charity money can be collected for people who are not working. So that is welfare money that he used to collect. And the boys say that they learned most of their lessons about life from the films that they watched. So Govinda said that he learned about the importance of family from the movie The Godfather. And then Narayana says films taught us that people are complex. Complex means not very easy to understand, and flawed. Flawed means that not perfect, imperfect. Flawed is usually means something that has some imperfections in it, is
Imperfect.
not right. So not completely flawless that we say. That is the opposite of flawed. That is flawless. So that is what Narayana said, and that there is so much more beauty in the world than they can see in the movies. Next, Mukunda says it was only when they got into their teen years, that is from 13 to 19, that is the time when they actually realized that other people are living a very different life from them. So that is when they got very curious, they got very interested on how the life outside of their home is. So what did Mukunda do? He was 15 years old when he just went out of the house. Suddenly, he simply woke up and decided to go out of his house when his father went to get groceries. So, when his father went to get the home supplies, food, vegetables, and everything, that is together called groceries. Okay. So, what did Mukunda wear when when he went out of the house? He wore a scary homemade mask, which was actually like one of those killers from a horror movie named Halloween. So that is what he wore when he went outside of the house. And one of the shopkeepers, he got scared seeing him like that, his appearance, and he called the police. So that is very normal there, because he saw something, this shopkeeper saw something very unusual. Maybe he got terrified. Maybe he thought that was a terrorist. That's why he called up the police. And Mukunda was taken to the police and he was questioned. But Mukunda did not answer any questions of the police, so they thought maybe he has some problem, maybe some health issues. So he was taken to the hospital where he stayed for a week before he was returned home. So when Mukunda got back, that is when he got the courage to talk to his father about the things that are happening different outside of the world. And he said that from now on, everything that we went through, this will not happen again. Things will be different for us from now on. So from that point onwards, they all of the brothers, all six of them began to go outside of their home. And how did they dress? They dressed like their influential movie that they liked. That was the Reservoir Dogs. And all of them dressed like that, all suited, wearing sunglasses and ties. That is how they dressed up and they went out of their homes. And that is when they met a documentary filmmaker, Crystal Moselle, and she got inspired listening to their story. And that is how the movie was made, not a movie, actually, a documentary was made on their life. And one of the producers of that documentary named them the Wolf Pack. Now, what they're doing, all of them are living in the real world. They have a lot of friends. One has a girlfriend, most have jobs, and three of them out of the six have jobs in the film industries. So, because they were so fascinated about films and movies and every that world, so they were very interested in working in that industry as well. And the youngest two of them, they are aiming to be rock musicians, and for that, they changed their names as well. So that is the whole story. So it has a good ending, right? Now that we know that they're living in the real world, it feels good to know that, because they had a very rough childhood. It felt bad to know, right? That is very unusual. So now that we know the story, it's clear for both of you, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so let's see the statements, the 8 statements that are given here, and let's see if each of them are right, that is true, or is it wrong, that is false. Okay, so let's see. Let's start. Number 1. The parents, Oscar and Suzanne, are American. Is it true or is it false?
False.
What about you, Mr. Farouk? Is it true or is it false?
It's true.
It's true? Okay, so both the parents, Oscar and Suzanne, both are Americans? We know that Suzanne was American. She was an American hippie. But Oscar Angulo, he was a Peruvian tour guide and a musician. So he was Peruvian, from Peru. Peru is not in America. So both of them are not American. Mr. Sajidul is correct. So this is false. The first statement is false. Number 2. One moment, please. Number 2. They met in New York, where Oscar worked as a musician. Is this true or false, Mr. Farouk and Mr. Sajidul?
It's correct.
It's correct. They met in New York.
They met in New York.
They met in New York. Mr. Farouk, did they meet in New York? Yes.
They meet in New York.
Okay, let's see. Susan Reisenbichler, a young American hippie, met Oscar Angulo, a Peruvian guide and a musician, on a trail to the majestic Machu Picchu ruins. That is in Peru. So both of them were going to Machu Picchu ruins. That is on the trail. They met on the trail to the majestic Machu Picchu ruins. On the trail means on the journey. So this is also false. Not train, not the transport train. Trail, which means journey. Yes, that is journey. So this is also false. They did not meet in New York. They met on the journey to Machu Picchu ruins. That is where they met. Okay, number 3. Mr. Sajdul, read number 3.
Oscar didn't have a job. He just looked after his family.
Is this true or is it false?
It's false.
False?
Yeah.
So you think, you say that he had a job?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
What about you, Mr. Farouk? What do you think? Oscar didn't have a job. He just looked after his family. Did he actually have a job?
I can't.
You can't? Okay, let's see. So, Oscar, the family lived on welfare money, and only Oscar went out, usually for food or to collect new films for his children. So, Oscar collected welfare money. So, welfare money means charity money, not his salary, right? So, when do people take welfare money or charity money? When they do not have any source of income. So, because he was jobless, he did not have any source of income.
Taking grants from other
people. Exactly. He was taking grants from other people, for which we know that Oscar didn't have a job. He just looked after his family. So this is true. See, this is correct because he did not have a job. Oscar did not have a job. Okay, number 4, Mr. Farouk, can you read the sentence?
The boys learned only negative things about life from the films. Yes.
So, yes, they only learn negative things.
Wrong.
Why wrong?
Yes, explain, Mr. Sajidul, why is it wrong?
They learned many things from the movies.
Like
they learned the people's lifestyles, gangsters' lifestyles, and the horror person's lifestyles. In addition to that, their food habit and other issues as well.
Good, very good explanation. So, see, Mr. Farouk. Here, just one sentence. We learned about the importance
of family. from films
the film
such as The Godfather and
Godfather.
says
Govinda. So Govinda said that he learned about the importance of family. Is it a negative thing? No, it's a positive thing. They learned how important a family is, right? So they did learn positive things from the films. So this statement is wrong. The boys only learned negative things. No, they learned positive things as well.
Yes.
Okay, number 5, Mr. Shajdul.
From a very young age, they worried about being different from other people.
True or false?
It's false because they realize at young age.
Very good. It's false because they did realize it at a young age, but not a very young age. A very young age means very small, when they're like
Childhood.
5, 6, exactly. But no, this did not happen. When did they start worrying about that they are different from other people? When they were in their teens. So when they're in their teens, that is a bit older, right? That they're not
Right.
so young at that time. Very good, Mr. Shajidul. Now, Mr. Farooq, number 6.
6. Mukunda escaped from the apartment in a frightening
Very good.
This guys.
Guys. Very good. Mukunda escaped from the apartment in a frightening disguise. Frightening means something that is very scary.
Threatening.
Right. Something that people are afraid of. That is scary, frightening. And disguise means something that we wear on to hide our appearance or hide who we are. So that is disguise. Understood. So Mukunda escaped means to run away. Mukunda escaped from the apartment in a frightening disguise. Is this true or is it false? So let me say this sentence in a very easy way. Mukunda ran away from his house wearing a very scary appearance or carrying a very scary appearance. Is it true or is it false?
I'm not sure. So far it is false.
It's false? So
So far.
you think he did not look scary when he ran out of the house when his father went to take groceries?
Not sure.
Not
So
sure?
far because I didn't recall anything like this.
Okay, now you can recall very well. See, I'll show you. Wearing a scary homemade mask modeled on the one worn by the killer in the horror film Halloween, the 15-year-old escaped into the city streets. See, so he was wearing a very scary homemade mask, a frightening disguise. So he was actually wearing a frightening disguise when he ran away from his house. Right? Understood now? Is it clear? Mr. Farooq, what about you? Is it clear now?
Is he Mukunda?
Yes, Mukunda. Mukunda is the one who actually ran away. He was the first one to run away from the house. The number 6 is correct. It is true. Number 7. Crystal Moselle heard about the boys, so she wanted to make a film about them. Did she hear about the boys or did she meet the boys at first?
Crystal must have heard about the boys, so she wanted to make a film about them.
It was on such a trip that they met documentary filmmaker Crystal Moselle. So is this statement true that she heard about the boys? Yes, Mr. Farooq?
True.
True? This is true?
Yes.
Crystal Moselle heard about the boys or did she meet the boys? She met the boys. It was on such a trip that they met the documentary filmmaker Crystal Moselle. So they met first. Crystal Moselle met them. She did not hear about them. She met them. That is why she wanted to make a film about them. So this is
Ouch.
wrong, right? Okay, last one. Their lives are much more normal now. Is this true or is this wrong?
Yeah, right.
True?
Yeah, true.
Mr. Farouk, what do you think? Is this correct or is this wrong?
True.
True. Good. Finally. So yes, they are living a very normal life at the end, and that is the best part at the moment. Okay, so this was a good, I think, informative class for you all because there were some weak
And very
points that
interactive
came
as
up.
well.
Right. It was very interactive as well, right? And in this way, actually, you learn a lot more than, just listening and just doing fill in the blanks and stuff like that. This is a better way to learn many things, especially new vocabularies, developing your speaking skills, and moreover, your reading skills. That was the main part here. So this is a good way to learn it, right? So, okay, so for today, our class is just still here. I'll stop sharing. Thank you, both of you. It was great.
Next class, ma'am.
Next class is on Thursday, inshallah. So we will see you on Thursday. Inshallah, hope to see you there as well. Inshallah, we will be doing more new activities and more new lessons. But we do have a part left of this lesson where we had to discuss about the story about the Angular brothers. We might, inshallah, do it next class. So hopefully see you on Thursday. Thank you so much, both of you.
Inshallah. Thank you.
Inshallah.
Thank you.
See you on Thursday. Assalamu alaikum.
Alright.